Hi folks, welcome to Time to Talk with Corinna Hansford. I've just had such a lovely chat with Corinna, who is the founder of Active Canine Designs, talking about dogs, as you might have guessed. So dogs and dog training equipment and products and inspiration as well, you know, what inspires people to turn their hobby into their business. So get yourself a cup of tea and settle down and listen to Time to Talk with Corinna Hansford. Take care. Bye-bye. Here we go. Hi folks, I'm here with the lovely Corinna Hansford from Active Canine Designs to talk all things dog and equipment, hopefully. So welcome, Corinna. It's lovely to have you on the podcast.
Hey Les, how you doing?
I'm really good. We don't know each other very well. It's quite interesting.
No.
So far, everyone I've had on, I've known for years and years, apart from...
Well, I've actually known you for years.
Oh.
It was one of the first books that I got.
Oh my goodness, really?
Yes. Yes. So there you go.
That's awesome. So you've probably tuned into my accent.
A little bit.
That's great. And I can remember when you first set up as gun dog lanyards, wasn't it?
That's right.
Lanyards. And
Yeah.
I got one I got myself one, and I got my friend one down in the New Forest, and they came in this lovely box. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it still come in the boxes?
Oh yes.
Oh, lovely. So I knew of you then, and I've now got one of your lovely. I mean, I absolutely love the new Celtic knot slip lead.
Oh,
It's my everyday walking lead. I love it, and I keep doing videos. And the first time I did one for you, you couldn't hear me for the wind. The second one, you couldn't see me for my hair. And so I will do another one. You might get it in my rugby shirt because it's lovely out there today. So I might get that today.
Fab.
But Corinna, tell me all about Corinna. So why dogs? How did you get into dogs? Did you start young or?
No, actually, I didn't. I was actually late to the party on that one. It had got to the stage in life where it's my husband was working away a lot, and I needed, a companion to be there and to keep me active and those sort of things. And I just decided it was time for a dog. It actually took me almost 2 years to decide what the breed was. And I went round in so many circles in deciding. The actual clincher was when I went to actually physically meet dogs of those breeds. And I think it was just instant. I fell in love with Visualised. And for me personally, my first dog wasn't intended to be a gun dog. She was just going to be a pet, but it soon sort of came to light that she was far happier when we were training and doing stuff, and she needed quite a lot of stimulation and brain stimulation. So then it sort of started to fall into. I had a lot of really, really great friends and mentors who pointed me in the right direction of what's the right way to teach HPRs, hunt point retrievers, and just kind of that was where my love for working dogs started, which was about 7-8 years ago. And just I keep getting Visualised. I don't actually. I'm not as bad as some people. I've only got 3, but they really are just an incredible breed. Yeah, so there you go.
It's interesting that you started with Visualised. I was interviewing, I don't know if you've heard of Hannah Spearman.
Yes.
Have you? Okay, so I interviewed Hannah the other day. She's one of the instructors, an accredited pet and dog instructor, and she's got loads of Visualised, and she's mad for them. And when you hear her talk, she just comes alive when she starts talking about her breed, and she's been
we're all the same.
She brings them in from Hungary, and but it's not the easiest of breed. I mean, I've trained a few of them, and you've got bitches, haven't you?
Yes. Yeah.
So I know the bitches that I've trained in the past. I'll probably get hissed at now, but the bitches I've trained in the past are quite prima donna-ish. You have to kind of.
They can be.
Yeah. Whereas the boys, especially the wire-haired boys, tend to be a lot more laid back. They're quite headstrong, but they're a lot more laid back with it, even though they are dogs. Whereas I find the bitches are quite prima donna-ish, and it's like, oh, I'm not doing that today. Do you find that about them?
Yeah, a thing I would probably say most about Visualize is the so they are always like multiplied by 10 of whatever you think it is. So on an energy scale, they are high energy. There are some that are calm, and generally males are more calmer than girls. Well, that's my experience anyway. I'm sure a lot of people would probably disagree, but also you can't have a heavy hand with a Vizsla. You've got to be very coercive and encouraging, and they tend to shut down if you if you push them. If you don't, they need pushing quite hard, but in a very, very sensitive way. If you know what I mean. But yeah, no, they're a great breed, absolutely. And every single Vizsla owner I know is besotted with them. They are addictive, and they're also they really are sort of a one man and his dog style dog. So it's not that they're clingy. They can be, if you're not careful. They can be quite clingy and have quite bad separation anxiety issues, because they really do want to be quite close to their handler. I don't mean in location terms, because generally they're found 100 yards in that direction or 100 yards in that direction. But from the old Hungarian days, it was definitely one man and his dog going out, with his gun, and that dog, the reason why they became so versatile was that one dog did everything, found the game, and obviously pointed the game, held the game, got your owner to shoot the game, and then you went and retrieved the game. So it was like they wanted a dog that did everything. Incredible dogs, absolutely incredible dogs. And it's probably a failing of mine that I've never owned another breed, and I probably should, because I'm probably a bit too besotted. And there are lovely things about every breed, isn't there? Really,
I think there's a breed out there for everybody. I think we've all got I've got 2 different breeds, and I've got a cocker and a lab, and I had a Goldie. And Goldies are very how you describe the Visual, the Goldies are quite like that as well. They've got a real backbone of steel, but they're also incredibly sensitive. And if you don't handle them right, they shut down, and then the stubbornness kicks in, and you've completely lost them. You've lost their trust.
Yeah, it takes a lot to get it back.
It is tricky, but I mean the HPRs very much a European breed, whereas the British breeds, the kind of, they're not quite as multifunction as the European breeds. So we've got the retrievers, or the hunters, or the settlers and pointers. And it was only after the Second World War that they started bringing in these European versatile, go out with a gun and shoot the game kind of thing.
Yeah, it's definitely my forward goal, which is probably going to be in about 20 years' time, the rate I'm going, but my forward goal is to actually to own and train hawks as well, so that
fantastic,
to do, so that you can do the full thing all together. But that's eons away.
Oh my goodness, do you know any hawk dog people beside you? You've got people to go to?
Oh yes, no, definitely. We've got friends who work with both dogs and birds, and it's just incredible to watch. It's really taking it right down to basics, and it is very much about teamwork. The dogs understanding the birds understanding the dogs, and the humans just let them get on with it generally.
They're amazing. I've trained a couple of falconers, and it's incredible, because you get them, you have to train the gun dogs to be gun dogs, and then you bring in the bird element, and it's just absolutely fascinating.
It's incredible to watch, really incredible.
And it was a term that I coined from a falconer of mantling, do you know when, because dogs will mantle as well.
Yeah.
And it was talking to a Falconer, because, you know, it was years ago when I was doing a lot of working with aggressive dogs.
Yeah.
And I was describing this thing, and he says, oh, we call that mantling in the bird of prey world. And it's where the term, the mantle piece, comes from as well, because it kind of goes over the fire. And I find words really fascinating like that. So
it's incredible.
That's awesome that you're going to do the bird work. And wow, birds of prey are my passion other than dogs.
Yeah, I love them. I just think they're incredible. But I need to learn about HPRs first properly. I'm a novice. I've only been at it for like 8 years, and I'm really lucky that, and I think it's quite important when you first get into, you know, not just a particular breed, but wanting to work them as they were bred to be worked. It's really important just to have a really good set of people around you who, good mentors, good trainers. And I do think I got a very quick leg up by being friends with people who were so encouraging and, you know, just want to pass on all of their knowledge and stuff. It's incredible, really. I was very lucky, very fortunate. Still am.
And people can be so generous. It's sometimes to their failing as well. You know, it can be, you know, exactly what I'm talking about. It can be really hard, but yeah, people can be so generous. And I feel like that with Nick Ridley, who I know you know very well.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I first met him, he spent an hour and a half talking books with me. Before we started, I was halfway through writing The Pet Gun Dog, and he just spent ages talking to me, and then I got him to do the photos. But people are really generous.
Yeah, they are really kind, and I hope that one day I can pass that on to somebody else, you know, when I've got something worth passing on.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I'm learning a lot already about HPRs. HPRs are my breed, and I'm the first person to put my hand up and say, I'll train an all-round gun dog. If you want to take your dog shooting, come to me. That's great. But if you want to work a HPR or go trialing, then I send you off to somebody else, because it's getting a HPR to work as a HPR is a real specialised training. Really, it's not something that I do.
And you can really get it wrong.
And you can get it so wrong.
Yeah.
So wrong so quickly. And I see a lot of people at the minute on Facebook using the lure, you know, and I look at it and I think, you know, it's great when people who know what they're doing are doing it. But when you get people copying it and haven't got a clue what they're doing, and you just go, oh, this is lots of work in the future for me. But you know, it's that kind of thing. You need to be talking to somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah. With lures, you have to be really careful with HPRs, because it's actually the opposite way round to how lures are being brought out a lot in showing, you know, collies and how they have the drive. That's all right for a collie, but it needs to be used in a very different way when you do it with an HPR, because it doesn't lift. So you wait until the dog stops and then you lift it, but it's the other way round. You lift it and the dog stops.
Yes.
You've got to train it the opposite way round. So yeah, it's you can get it very wrong.
You can get it really wrong, and then you know, you see them and you see them allowing the young puppies to attack it, and it's like, oh, you know, let's not do that. No. So you said to me that you show your Visualists as well.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, my last 2 Visualists I've shown. It's nice. It's probably more of a social thing, but it's for me, it's putting yourself in an environment to learn about conformation, and understanding what makes good conformation and not good conformation. And I think it just helps me, one, to read a dog better, but also obviously to look at future sires and all of those sort of things. So it's a good place to be, and just making it something social. You know, I've got some lovely friends in showing. It's good.
And I mean, you can see the breed of the future as well, and you can go, well, I might stay away from that line, but I really like this line. And Do many people
Yeah.
who show the Visualised work them as well? Are they multifunctional? Do they tend to either be show or working?
I think probably you might find more people work and show in HPRs than perhaps they do in many of the other gun dog varieties, the groups, because the dual thing is I think the dual thing is seen as quite important, that they can do both, and that, you know, the ultimate is to become a full champion or a dual champion. And the way to do that is to obviously do well in the field and do well in the show ring. But you know, it's not to say that you don't have that in other gun dog breeds, but it's kind of I don't know. I just feel like there are more working. I mean, it's still not high. It's still not. I wouldn't actually know the number, to be brutally honest, but I'd probably say something like 20-25% work and show in the show ring.
Really good.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Because I find with the HPRs, I mean, I haven't really noticed it with the HPRs, or if it's there, it's not quite as apparent when you see the working lines of like the working cocker as opposed to the cocker spaniel, and the working line as opposed to the show lab and the goldies as well, you know, the show goldies and the field goldies, and they're massively different. They're almost split into different breeds, even though on the pedigree they're called the same thing, but you don't really see it so much in the HPRs, do you?
No, there's definitely not that split in HPRs. It's more I don't know why, actually. I'm not sure whether it's because the breed standard comes from more from the working lines, if you know what I mean, and that they haven't been softened at all. It is to see a dog that has good conformation is one that can work all day long. Yeah. So that's the way it is certainly in Visualised. I'm not sure about other HPRs,
and that's how it should be, isn't it? It should be form following function.
Yeah.
You know, definitely.
Yeah.
And it's all. I mean, hopefully the kennel club are getting the house in order and sorting out the breeds. You know, but hopefully they are, and it is starting to change. I mean, it is starting to change. You know, not just with the gun dogs, but like the shepherds are starting to improve the back end of the shepherds, and hopefully.
I think it goes in cycles. I think you know, I mean, if you think about Dobermans and what was it in the late 80s and things, you know, so many things have gone round in cycles where it's been corrected because it got so bad. And the really sad thing is it's quite often vanity that takes it the wrong way down the road, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I mean, hopefully they are sort of keeping it more in check.
And it was interesting when they stopped docking, you know, and they brought in the law that you can't dock unless it's you know, now a working line, and just seeing what happened, because my friend has Rotties, and so seeing what happened when these dogs were being bred with a tail, because they'd bred them, the breeders hadn't been necessarily looking at the tail, and so you had all these Rotties and Dobermans with these like really fine curly whip tails, because of course they'd always been docked within a couple of days, and nobody took any attention to the tail, and all of a sudden I had to like, okay, what we're going to do with this tail? How can we breed in a really good strong tail on the dogs, and you know, well-haired tail so it doesn't get damaged. How do you find, because the Visualised used to be docked, didn't they? And they're not docked now. Are yours docked?
Mine are. Mine are. Yeah, because they're intended for working, they are docked. Our first Visualised wasn't docked, and that kind of made my mind up that I needed to dock, because she split the end of her tail, and basically it took nearly 2 years to repair. So
I think that working dogs should be docked, because I've seen, you know, spaniels where they've been left with a long dock,
Yeah.
and they get that coat in like blackthorn, and it just
Yeah.
shreds the tail, or it,
Yeah.
and
They
it
come out
almost
covered.
the gloves the tail as well, doesn't it, where it gets
Yeah.
cut off, and
Yeah.
and then it
And
takes
that's
a long
even a
time.
dog who, you know, is fully coated, and so you stick a visitor in the same place. It's I think actually half the problem with visitors is that, yeah, and probably the same with cockers and spaniels, is it's the happy tail. You know, it's this thing that's constantly going like this, bang, 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 and you know, you can't stop them from being happy.
Yeah, well,
Really, you know.
excited.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah.
can't. And Bart had a damaged tail, and you can see it in the pet gun dog book. If you said you've got the book, so
Yeah.
if you look at where I'm teaching him to sit, he's got a bald patch on his tail like that, and you can see it on one of the
Oh,
photos where, like that, he would wag his tail, and he caught it under the fridge one day,
oh.
and then you'd go in, and it'd be like Chainsaw Massacre at waist height in the kitchen, just
Yeah.
blood everywhere. And one of the guys that trained Darren with Moss, he had to have about this much taken off the end of his tail. That was a Labrador.
Amputated.
Same thing, you know, real high energy
Yeah.
wag out shooting, and he lost the end of his tail because of it. So I'm very much in favour of working dogs. I know a lot of people aren't, but they're normally the people who haven't seen the result of a day's shooting.
Yeah. Have to live with it.
And have to live with it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
you know, if they're not working, then I totally understand why people don't want to do it. And you know, it's more of a practical nature of doing it. But yeah,
it is definitely.
Yeah.
So how did you go from having your Visualised and working them to setting up your lanyard business, which are beautiful lanyards? How did how did you go from like just going out and having a great time with dogs? What did you do before you set your lanyard business up?
So I did work my dog, Senna and Mika before then, and I would always have the whistle around my neck, and I just one day thought, this is really boring. It's a boring, piece of string, and so I ended up making something for myself that was a bit more colourful and things like that. And then there was, remember there was all those things going around on Facebook with the pay it forward things, and so I sent out just some of these lanyards to people just to say, this is the pay it forward. And suddenly people started sharing them on their Facebook page. And within 24 hours, I literally had to have Gundog Lanyards Facebook page set up with swatches and prices. And that was crazy. It was just absolutely nuts. The number of people that said, I need, I have to have one of those in my life. And I'm like, what? Really? And it just then, the next swathe of people that then got some that had paid for them then shared them on Facebook, and it became crazy, and I mean, I was overwhelmed, absolutely overwhelmed, because it was actually just a little hobby for me of just making something for myself that was a bit colourful and I don't know, just looked a little bit smarter than your bootlace really, or a bit of twine. Yeah, and obviously we got featured in magazines all over the place, and sort of like a bit of stardom that I didn't really imagine could happen with something as silly as a lanyard. But we started making more. I started making more items like game carriers and some of the aero dummies and all those sort of things, and then it just turned into active K9. It had to grow, because I wasn't just making Gundog lanyards anymore, and I didn't want to become restricted by the name, i.e. people didn't realise, Corinna makes leads as well. So then brought all three of the brands together into active K9, and everybody's come with me, which is just so lovely, really. Sponsored events and things like that, and just I get so much support from people like customers and followers and things like that, that it's just a small thing for me to sponsor events and things like that, because I'm just very grateful. I feel very blessed to have been given the opportunity I did. I mean, I've got to say, I've always had a bit of a business head. If it wasn't this, it would have been something else. And it's just, I suppose it's just something that happened, and I kind of seized it a little bit at the time. But I'm just so blessed, really blessed. So.
Well, you know, it could have been so easy for you to let the opportunity pass you by, but you didn't. You went for it.
Yeah. And now you can see, I mean, I've got so much stock.
Looking.
It's just absolutely nuts. And you can't see everything on that side. But yeah, it's, I do sometimes sort of pinch myself and say, I can't believe this, you know, and I'll do another order of rope, and hubby will be like, God, not more. I'm a bit of a, you know, I can't help it. If I see something I like, I just get it and just know that it will make a really good lanyard or lead or what. But yeah, I love it.
So what was the pay forward you were talking about?
That was, so it's when you sort of accept a challenge on Facebook that somebody says they'll pay it forward to you if you then pay it forward to somebody else. And so you pick 5 people who you would like to send a surprise to within 365 days. So it doesn't have to be immediately. In fact, that it's better to wait and surprise people. And that person accepts that challenge. So they say, yeah, I'd love to have a surprise, something through. You know, it can be a book, or you write them a poem, or you just anything, just something to make surprise somebody. And those people then, those that accept that challenge, have to then pass on, pay it forward to another 5 people. So it just becomes a bit, you know, sort of spreads a bit, where everybody has to pay it forward. And they don't happen that much anymore. I have to say, it was, this was 2013, I think it was, that this all started. Yeah, just, and I've received some lovely things, some really lovely things on pay it forward stuff. But yeah, there you go.
That is such a good idea.
Yeah, I think there's some things about Facebook that are really positive and really encouraging, and you know, it promotes a really sort of loving feel. And I definitely try to embrace them when they do happen, because you want to make sure that that is what Facebook is about, you know.
It is. It can be quite nasty at times, and it can be not a nice place to be. But then, when you see people come together for something, just for the sake of doing something nice, it's amazing. Which gets me on to the challenge that you did.
Oh, yeah.
the online, the 2020 online working test.
Yeah, for my sins.
Oh my
Thank you. And thank you for taking the baton, because
well, I'm hoping somebody else is. That now sent to me, when you're doing the next one. No, I'm passing the baton on.
It's passing it on. Pay it forward.
Yeah, pay it forward. Yeah, I've done my bit. Your turn. So, how did that come about? Because all of a sudden, you know, nothing. Then all of a sudden, it was out there, which was amazing.
Well, lockdown was starting to become a bit more sort of inevitable, and I think we were starting to see the real realities of what was going to fall out of this. And I must have had 8 or 10 events that I was supposed to be going to that got cancelled. So group events, you know, big like shows, training, working tests, all those sort of things that all got cancelled all in one go. It was literally within a week. Obviously, you were notified it's not happening anymore. And I could see everybody around me going, what are we going to do now? And knowing that it's 3 months. And I just thought, you know what? I had a whole stash of lanyards and leads that had been made up to sponsor another event. And just thought, well, these could all be the prizes. I might try and get a few other prizes to add to it to make it a bit more exciting, and let's try and see. And honestly, I thought it would just be my friends, and it would be, you know, I don't know, 20 people. No. It turned into 2,000 members and 190 entries.
Wow.
Which just hats off to the judges, because we had to close it a week early because and it was from all, I think it was because it spread across the world that literally we had to rein it in, because it got to the point where it's like you can't watch all these videos. You physically can't watch that many videos and judge everybody in equal measure. But yeah, so we just said, right, I'm afraid it's going to shut a week early, but we gave everybody lots of notice, by which time the entries doubled. But we knew that would probably happen, so it was kind of, we knew that was what we had, but we needed to give everybody really good notice that I'm really sorry, but it's going to have to close early. But yeah, it was I have to say I was overwhelmed, absolutely overwhelmed. It was not supposed to be like that. It was just going to be a few friends and just a bit of fun, really. And then it turned into something, where we got sponsorship from other people, and it was just great, absolutely great. Yeah. And I had the same questions. Are you going to do some more? No. Not for now. I need to get back to my business. Literally for a week and a half, I did nothing else. It was just constant, adminning it and stuff like that. But it was just so lovely to watch so many happy people, and I think everybody just needed a little bit of focus and a reminder that everybody's going through something. Everybody's feeling it right now, and just it was it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
It was a really good thing, and then we picked it up, me and a couple of the instructors, and it was setting the challenges was because you didn't know who was going to enter, and it was like you had to make sure that you weren't breaking anyone's dog, because if novices were entering, you didn't want to break their dogs, and because there's a lot of challenges, not like the big challenge that you did and then we took off you. Not literally took off you, we picked it up after you.
Passed it on,
we took up the baton. But there's a lot of challenges out there, and I look at them and I go, that is going to cause behaviour issues, or it's going to cause problems with retrieving, or it's going to stop your dog wanting to go out,
make your dog sticky,
make your dog really sticky. And it's great that people are sharing stuff and wanting to do stuff online, but some of the things that people are putting up, try, see if your dog can do this. No, let's not. And remembering that the dogs need the rest as well, and
it's really important. Really important. They're not used to this. They're not used to. I mean, I say mine are, because I train with them daily, and I know I probably shouldn't, but I do. They're my folly. No, that sounds terrible, doesn't it? Folly.
It sounds terrible.
The right word. Yeah.
Are you mates? You got
Yeah. So I do think, though, you have to be quite careful about how much you're stimulating your dogs, because they need as much downtime as they do uptime. Definitely.
And especially if you're not used to being at home with them. And it's that whole, I can see your dogs are behind you. My dogs, I've put them out of the room while we're on the podcast, but normally they're under my desk. And like that, I walk them and train them on the walk and put things down for them to retrieve, and I don't do so much formal training with them these days. But they know when I'm at my desk they've got the rest. But if the dogs are used to being left on their own all day, and all of a sudden everybody's at home and everybody's walking the dog and everybody's training the dog, when they go back to work, the dogs
they're going to have a shock.
Difficult.
I think you do have to be careful and give them equal downtime. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
But there's a lot of people that quite often feel like they can't give their dogs enough time when they are working, and I think it's important not to suddenly switch them over to something where it's like you're giving them all the time, but equally you want to make the most of having that time and to bring yourself on a couple of things. So
I must admit, when you're challenging, I messaged you and said that it got me really fired up for training again, because I trialled in New Zealand. I lived in New Zealand for a few years. I trialled out there. I haven't trialled in England, or Scotland. I've trialled in New Zealand, and I've done working tests in the UK. And I'm one of these people. I get really bored. I'm not the most patient person in the world. I'll go to these working tests and I'll sit and God, why am I sitting here for 3 hours when I could be at home doing, you know?
Yeah.
And so I that was the reason why I stopped doing working tests.
Yeah.
I did, I nearly called him Ziggy. I did the challenge with Ziggy, and I really enjoyed it. There were really good challenges that you put. I really enjoyed doing them. I don't know if my husband enjoyed coming out and videoing them. I thoroughly enjoyed doing them. And I thought, oh, I might start competing again. This was a bit fun.
Good.
So,
I have to say, there was lots of people who contacted me and you know, were like, I can't believe, you know, how inspiring it's been to actually get out with the dog. Some people who have never even worked their dog. Some people who are actually trained obedience and not gun dog, and yet actually some of them did really, really well. It's incredible to watch. And some people that were just like, thank you for, you know, putting a bit of inspiration into the day to help us think, you know, what we can do with our dogs and how we can have, you know, just chill really, because it is quite stressful at the moment.
It can be. Yeah, it can be.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you about your products, if you don't mind, because as I say, you know, I have really, really fallen in love with the Celtic knot slip lead. It's in the cupboard, otherwise I would go and get it and show it. I meant to have it on my desk so I could show it. I absolutely love it. And as I've said in the 2 videos that I've done for you that you're not getting, one of the things I really like about it is I've got Raynaud's, and I lose complete sensation in my fingers, especially in the cold. And so when I'm using an ordinary lead, I can't always tell if it's in my hand or not, you know, because I lose feeling. And so just having that knot between my fingers, and I've been holding it so it's like between my finger and thumb, or slid between my first and second fingers. And just knowing, and for me, I got the 8 mil, so it's got a bigger Celtic knot for me, and it's just perfect in the hand. I'm so thrilled with it, honestly, Corinna. I can't tell you how thrilled I am.
Oh, I'm so chuffed.
I just love it, and I think for older people, you know, whose hands are stiff and maybe it's getting a bit arthritic.
Yeah.
I think it's a perfect lead for older people. And for people like me, you know, not that old, but with Raynaud's. But I just think it's a perfect lead for the hand. I think it's amazing. I love it.
Excellent. Oh, I'm so chuffed. I'm constantly developing new ideas and just trying to find how to make things better. You know, because I think sometimes things are made and you just think, yeah, that's good, and then you think, oh, actually, if you just slightly adapted something, or it would mean you could do so much more with it. But not for doing its sake. I must admit, there are a lot of times when I get people come and say, Corinna, can you make this? And it's like, really? And you know, it's just, I'll make it for you, but it's not going to be but sometimes there are some things that are made, especially like in your instance, where you know, it's something that actually helps somebody who struggles in certain situations. So things like steady fobs and things like that. There's just lots of things that have come that, you know, are like, that's a really good idea, not just for the dog and for the training of the dog, but also for the handler and how they handle the dog or not handle the dog.
What's a steady fob?
Oh, I must admit, I haven't got it listed on the website at the moment. It's just literally something that hangs off a normal standard collar.
Okay. I know.
And it's literally a fob that's like that. But good for, you know, when you're getting a dog out of the car, or you just want to hold them back.
I use them a lot, actually. I didn't know you were doing them. I use tabs, steady fob, if you like. I know them as collar tabs. And your heel helper does that as well, but without needing a collar, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
And so I've got it'll be out now, so I can talk about it. So the new edition of the Pet Gun Dog books, 2020, it's been 10 years now. So revamped them, and I've actually got the steady fobs, if you like, and I talk about them and how useful they are in training, and how you can use them to stop a dog running in, and to guide the dog into the correct position when it's delivered. So oh my God, so you call them steady fobs. I mean, I was so thrilled when I got the heel helper and you made it into a big lead for me. I was just tickled.
Oh, I'm just pleased. I'm pleased when it actually helps somebody, you know, because I did some work for oh gosh, I can't think of the name of them now. Oh dear, head's gone blank. But you know, dogs that are trained to help you around the house.
Assistance dogs.
Yes.
Dog aid.
Yes. Yeah, that kind of thing. So they came to me and said, can you help us make some fobs that we can hang off door handles, off washing machines? So they had to be able to attach in a way that kept the dog safe, made sure the dog didn't break something in the process. I loved that. And actually looking at, you know, differing disabilities and looking at how the dog can actually help, it just blew me away. I'm just dogs are incredible, absolutely.
They're amazing. I've trained assistants and assistants. She came to me and I said, no, I don't do it. I don't do it. and she was like, no, I want you to do it. So we did, and it was amazing. And she did like a whole load of gun dog training awards. She'd turn up wearing a shine in her off-roading wheelchair, bundled up with her Goldie, and
I love it.
Amazing. And it was one of those wheelchairs where, I mean, she used to do all our own poo picking after our dog, and it would go upright, or it would sit and it would lean off to the side so she could lean up and pick. And we trained things like finding the phone, all gun dog stuff really, you know, go and get the phone, get the mobile, pick this up, open the door, close the doors, take the jackets off. And then just before I moved to Scotland, we did a hit an emergency button on the wall, so the dog would go and hit an emergency button if it was needed. They're amazing.
They're incredible. I just I'm infatuated with dogs. I marvel at them daily. You know, all of the sniffer dogs, and just you name it, all of them. They're just, we take them too much for granted, really, and I'm in absolute admiration of them, because we couldn't do half of the things that we do without dogs.
And we wouldn't have evolved in the way that we did without them watching our back. We wouldn't have had time on our hands to do different things as we were evolving from nomad to farmer. You know, they've been part of our journey all the way. And I just feel incredibly privileged to share my life with the different species. And so I always honour the dog for being a dog and not for a fur baby. I don't do the fur baby thing. I think it's to keep calling a dog a fur baby and to treat it like a baby in a fur coat, to me, is quite disrespectful of the species that is, you know, a social predator. I think it's quite disrespectful not to treat the dog like a dog. That's not, when you say that to people, it's just a dog and treat your dog like a dog, they think that you mean treat them like dirt.
No.
Honour them.
No, it's actually treat them with more respect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. So, I think it takes quite a lot to earn the respect of a dog, and when you do, it's incredible.
It is, and just to share that energy. I mean, I used to do kinesiology on dogs. I'm a therapist. That's where I came from, therapy background, and just to share that incredible energy. You know, I'm working with wolves, and it's just phenomenal to be in that space with them. It's just amazing. I
loved your podcast with Nick Thompson, because I really do believe about what you put into a dog, you get out of it. Quite literally. Sorry. but you know, the whole thing about how you train them and how you respect them is what you get out at the end of it as well. It's they're important, very important.
Absolutely. And I think if you treat the dog with respect, with boundaries, it's the same with people, isn't it? And with relationships, you have to have boundaries there. And if you don't have your boundaries there, you're trying to get walked all over.
Yeah.
And then, but it's the same with dogs. If you don't have your boundaries there, the good chance they're going to bite you till you get out of the way.
Yeah.
Get off my settee, get off my bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I can see your dog moving around behind you. Oh, she's just, she must have, I think she got up and turned. She must have just turned around and went, you know.
Silly totters.
How lovely.
They're all great. They're just brilliant. Love them.
Great. Oh, Corinna, thank you so much for coming on. It's been so lovely talking to you.
Oh, thanks for inviting me.
Oh, my pleasure. It's been great.
I feel very privileged when I see some of the other people that you've done podcasts with. So.
Well, you know, I really like your stuff. I really like your equipment, and I like, for me, it's finding the backstory behind the brand as well, because people just see stuff out there and they go, oh, well, you know, it's all right for them. They've got this, but to look at how hard people have worked to get there, I think it's really important, and also it's really inspiring. You know, the fact that you started through doing pay forward is really inspiring. Hopefully, people to be able to do something similar and find their passion as well.
No, definitely, and you can turn your hobby into a job.
Yeah,
I think if you love it enough, you can do it.
Yeah, well, I did. I turned my hobby into a job.
Yeah, I'm hoping my next hobby to turn into a job is to photograph dogs. But it's all right, Nick. You're safe.
I have noticed your photos are really good.
Oh, that would just be that's my next thing that I'm working towards.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So then you won't have time to do any of you. You'll have to train somebody else to do the braiding and get them to do the photos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been lovely to catch up.
And you. Thank you very much for coming on, and take it easy. Stay safe.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to seeing the next lot of projects that come out.
Yeah. I'll let you know. Stay safe yourself.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.